Getting enough grief. Those of us that indulge in or commit intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure of mental masturbation or eager getting. We do so because we came from an oppression with minds that deep and physical. Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM, the education station. I'm Patrice Gibbs, your third eye optometrist, ready to bring you information that will keep your third eye open. This is what we do. We saw some things this week that showed us we have to control the propaganda that reaches our people. That's my job. That's my passion. That's what I do. Before I get into it, I want to help a friend out. Blessing Assurance Church presents their first annual bake sale today. It started at 10. It's today from 10 to 1. It's at 1801 Lancaster Avenue. Freshly made homemade baked goods. Please remember to wear your mask to the event. All right. Let's get it going. Yes, indeed. We are moving right along. Arriving at the station, ready to get it going, is my partner in consciousness, Nsoromma. He's getting it all set up here. He'll be on the air with us in the New York Minute, making sure we safe, spraying us down with the Lysol. He don't be playing, y'all. That's where he don't play with that Rona. And if you haven't, make sure you check out that Rona by Nsoromma. All right. Look, let this sink in. Listen, check this out, y'all. Okay. If you go to the Southwest Desert and catch 100 red fire ants as well as 100 large black ants and put them in a jar, at first, nothing will happen. However, if you violently shake the jar and dump them back on the ground, the ants will fight until they eventually kill each other. The thing is, the red ants think the black ants are the enemy and vice versa, when in reality, the real enemy is the person who shook the jar. This is exactly what's happening in society today. Liberal versus conservative, black versus white, pro-mask versus anti-mask. The real question we need to be asking ourselves is, who in the hell is shaking the jar and why?
Who is it? Who you think it is?
Yeah, buddy. It's the powers that be that want to keep us separated. That's who's shaking the damn jar.
Oh, okay.
Make no mistake about it. That's who's shaking the jar. You let them shake the jar, and you ain't paying it. See, that's why I told you. Tune into the Open Eye so that you get the real deal, so that you know that the propaganda that we're bringing has no falsehood in it. We're bringing you what's real.
Right.
That's where.
Wagwan, Roger.
Wagwan. How you doing this morning, bro?
Hello, world.
Yeah, all right. Nsoromma in the house. That's right. Hey, put that over there, bro, so we can get them in there. That's right. Yes, indeed. Thank you, brother. All right. Well, I guess you heard by now. America lost a very famous person.
Who, Sicily?
Well, yeah, we lost Sicily. That made us sad. We lost Mary Wilson of the Supreme.
Oh, Mary Wilson. Yeah.
The brother from the Fat Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Prince Marky D. Yes, D.
Yeah.
That's right. And we lost somebody that didn't make me the least bit sad.
Who?
Rush Limbaugh.
Rush Limbaugh. Oh,
yeah. The king of hate radio.
Uh-huh.
Most racist bastard that ever get on hand.
He was, man.
Yeah, he was, that's where, Now, some people would say, what an awful thing to celebrate a man's death, even a man like Rush Limbaugh. Nonsense.
I mean, there's people that is celebrating.
Yeah,
And it's crying because he left, because he was speaking the truth for them, son.
yeah.
I mean, you got to look at it both ways, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He may be a racist, but he was speaking for a lot of racists.
That he was.
You know what I'm
And he
saying?
was.
Yo, it's crazy.
And during this thing, karma is something else. He died during Black History Month. That's what, like I said, it's nonsense, to say that, look, I'm not going to respect somebody in death who I didn't respect when they were living. I don't do that. That's why it's nonsense. You know what's awful? It's awful that his parents had sex that night.
That's crazy.
As well, it's awful that his father didn't use a condom. It's all, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That's crazy.
It's awful that his mother didn't swallow.
Okay.
I don't believe in abortion.
You know what he does.
Yeah. And, I don't believe in abortion. What's awful is that the good die young, and that bastards like Rush Limbaugh live too damn long.
How old was he? What was he?
70.
70?
Yeah, that's too damn long.
He had a nice term,
Yeah.
Of all that hate and hanging.
Mm-hmm.
If he felt like that, he did a bunch of things that was unexplainable. You know what I'm saying?
You got that right. You got that right.
The creator will get you.
That's what. The greatest contribution Rush Limbaugh made to mankind?
What?
Was to lead the world. Good riddance.
Hey.
That's what. This is open eyes. We ain't playing. Bigger than big. I'm telling you. You ain't feeling it? Of course, it's still February. Not that we wait until February, but we give you a little extra in February. All right. How many of you have heard of the Great Migration?
I'm pretty sure a bunch of them.
Yeah. Well, the Great Migration, sometimes known as the Great Northward Migration or the Black Migration, was the movement of some 6 million African Americans out of the rural southern United States to the urban Northeast,
right,
Midwest, and West. And this occurred between 1916 and 1970. A lot of Black people moved north out of that nest down there. I respect and I salute those that stayed and fought.
Salute.
Yes, stayed and fought.
That's what we gotta get ready to do, stand up and fight.
Yes.
So I salute those that's ready.
I heard that. The new Great Migration is the demographic change from 1970 to the present, which is a reversal of the previous 55-year trend of Black migration within the United States. Since 1970, with the deindustrialization of cities in the Northeast, Midwest, growth of jobs in the New South, with the lower cost of living, family, kinship ties, improving racial relations, I don't know about that,
right,
and religious connections have all acted to attract Black people back to the South. Between 1965 and 1970, the southern states lost around 287 African Americans, while from 75 to 1980, southern United States had a net gain of 109,000 African Americans, showing reversal of the original Great Migration. Now, I'm going to tell you something about the Great Migration.
Right.
At first, when Blacks started leaving the South in the late 1800s, early 1900s, really the early 1900s, it wasn't a thing to a lot of whites who, depended on Black labor. Because in their stereotypical foolishness, they figured, well, it gets cold up north, so those Blacks will be back, and we'll have them back on the, doing sharecropping.
Right.
Working. Yeah, working, what have you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Blacks can handle the cold, and we stayed up north.
Right.
And when they caught on to that, they tried to do things to stop black people from moving north, such as if you were caught at the train station, get ready to go north,
Right.
okay, they would charge you with vagrancy and lock you up and put you in one of those, what do you call that? One of those jails where, you know, one of those prisons,
right,
where you were farmed out to plantations and companies and this, that, and the other.
Right.
You know, that way they tried to keep people down south. But it didn't happen because our people just kept getting up out of there. I mean, that's how deep it was in the South, man, during, you know, the really rough days of segregation, where, you know, if you didn't walk around with your back bent, you were in danger. You straightened up your back and try to get that, you know, white terrorist off your back, you could get your neck stretched.
Well, he's doing that now. So
Yeah, how about that? How about that? You stand up now.
That's the thing. To still be going through this in 2020 and have to have your kids of the next generation worry about this type of stuff. That's just insane to me.
I heard that, brother. It is absolutely insane. All right. Have you heard about this movie? What is it? Judas.
Yeah, I seen it.
And the Messiah. Oh, you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen it yet. What do you think of it?
It was pretty accurate.
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah,
Okay.
Pretty
Okay.
accurate. So I'd rather let you see it and, you know, get your opinion, then we can talk about it.
Then we can talk about it. Right.
But
right.
It was pretty accurate.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and check it out. You know, for those that don't know, the movie is about Fred Hampton and the informant that turned on him.
But you gotta think, this was a 21-year-old young man, and he was networking with all the people that was getting the unjust done to him in the system, which was everybody except white. You know what I'm saying? So it was. He was astronomical. Right,
and that's what I was gonna say. When you said Fred Hampton was 21, let that sink in. Fred Hampton was 21. A 21-year-old became chairman of the Chicago faction of the Black Panthers. 21. Fed families, led a revolution, united rival gangs in Chicago, and gave an entire group of people hope.
Not only that, he gave, like, poor white trash, they would team up with him. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that was being opposed in the system, they was listening to him because he was talking and stating true facts. So, you know, they had to really do something to him, man.
Yeah, because our government was scared of this 21-year-old.
I mean, why would you be scared of somebody that can keep the world calm?
Yeah, well, because of the change that he was going to bring to the world.
But the world has to go on a change anyway. It can't roll the same forever. God,
that's right.
I mean, they got rid of the dinosaurs, so it's going to change. Regardless of what they think and how they think it's not going to change, it's going to change.
You heard Nsoromma, it's going to change. That's for sure. The open eye is brought to you by the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, founders and builders of the Pearl Center, the veteran-specific apartment building. Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, changing veterans' lives all over Delaware.
News and opinions expressed on open eye.
All right.
Yeah. Yo, Mix, what's good? Zah. Hey, yo, Jeff, come here, man. What's going down? What's going down? Tanya.
Yes, indeed.
Hey,
Brother Vaughn in the house.
Look it out. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, Brother Big, you know what it be.
Yes, indeed. Brother Vaughn in the house. What's up, Brother Vaughn?
Brother Vaughn was good,
Yes,
homie.
indeed. Vaughn said, we having too much fun already.
Oh, yo, that's what we built to do.
Well, you know, here we go again.
Right.
Congress is doing it again. They had another hearing on reparations. All right. The time,
Not to stop you on that.
Go ahead.
Did your boy get in trouble?
Which one?
There's only one boy I'm talking about, the orange peanut butter.
Oh, the orange disaster.
I'm like, yo, your boy seen now. If I had $1 million to bet on that dog, we'd have been up. We came off by now. You know what I mean? Oh my God, that was dope.
Yo, but look, man,
What?
you know, I mean, look, he got off. Okay, with the impeachment trial, you know, it's real crazy, but he got off on that so far. There's some more stuff coming. That's what it is.
By the time we get here, it's all gonna be lost.
Yep. Yeah, you know, but
Tainted evidence.
Man, New York and Georgia, they both gonna be coming after him. That's a damn sure. They coming after him. You know,
don't they own him from New York already?
No.
Huh?
No. You know, the Trump casino was demolished this week.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. The citizens of Atlantic City considered it an eyesore. And like I said before, a casino is a cash cow. You can't hold on to. Look how long the mob held casinos and skimmed millions off of them and never went bankrupt. That show you how shaky a businessman this con man was. All right? But as I said, this week, this hearing came up for reparations. They keep having hearings and studies. I don't know how many more studies they need to do. But a part of the problem is when you have clowns like Herschel Walker.
Now, what did Herschel Walker do? Because I ain't see it yet.
Okay, I didn't know Herschel Walker was partially illiterate.
Oh yeah, Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker. He used to do head on, boom, down with the helmet, and then stop and keep running.
So that might have something to do with
the forces, they was super strong back then.
Yeah.
And they used to do head on.
I heard that.
The helmet.
Yeah.
Concussion, brain
so
damage.
That's what it is. He got brain damage.
Of course.
Okay, man. So that's what's wrong with him.
The most brain damaged black person to talk for us.
Well, he wasn't talking for me because
that's the way they project it.
Oh
you know what I'm saying?
Yep. Some white supremacist wrote up his little speech that he gave at the reparations hearing. That's what happened. Because he got up there talking about, reparations and integration.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, we shouldn't be. But he got up there talking, white supremacist points on why black people shouldn't get reparations.
That's incredible, man.
What's wrong with him?
You could tell they gave him a pill or something for him to do that. They gave him a needle or something. Come on, man.
Man, look, I don't know what's wrong with the brother, but it was just awful. It was embarrassing. He should be ashamed of himself for getting up, saying the mess that he was up there saying.
That's terrible, man.
It is.
Hey, and I want to say big ups to a homie that don't nobody seem to, give recognition to, who made a change in the world in a big way. And he's a black man, and he's established black man, successful black man, and he went to jail for the reason of, freedom of speech.
Okay.
And this is the most renowned individual and icon that I want to give a Black History shout out for.
Okay.
As a living legend.
Okay.
Uncle Luke.
I heard that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Uncle Luke went to jail for freedom of speech on his first hip hop album.
Yes, he did.
Propelled the hip hop industry to turn into what it is now. Even though it's what it is now, we did gain the right to have freedom of speech on our music.
I heard that.
And he was the one that went to jail for that.
Right.
So big ups, Uncle Luke. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody give you shout outs. Don't nobody support you in music industry. And they blackball you, and you still made it. So, yaga!
Big ups. All right, Uncle Luke.
Sure.
That's what, for those that don't know, some of you may, but Uncle Luke was the leader of the Two Live crew, and they were something else.
That's right.
Yes, indeed. That's word. When I was looking at Herschel Walker, there's another brother on there that's a well-known black conservative, Larry Elder. Larry Elder, oh my goodness gracious, how can you say handkerchief head? Yes.
Why they didn't go get some people like Dr.
Umar Johnson. Claude Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, why they didn't go get people that that can talk for our people?
Right.
And that's what I mean, man.
Yeah.
This all is set up. Who's listening to the people that they went and got? Because they're not the people that they getting athletes, basketball players that didn't study or know the history of. You know what I'm saying? They may know, but they ain't historians.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and like you said, they haven't studied.
You can see how they keep on and keep on and keep on, injecting and trying to do conniving and underhanded, slick stuff to all the things that we be putting into and trying to enforce into law. Right. They constantly do that.
Yes, they do. Yeah, they do. Now, even though Texas Democratic Representative Sheila Jackson Lee,
right?
You know, she's the new sponsor of the revolution and reintroduced the bill actually back in 2019. You know, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. And like I said, you know, when I see these Larry Elders and these black conservatives, it reminds me of this brother that I had some interaction with, who I just this week saw a video of him on the internet. And it's a black man now. And I think he's from Philly too. Speaking against black people. And this brother's name is Talib Stark. He describes himself as an American who happens to be black. Well, I'm a black man that happens to be in America. And he presents himself as a filmmaker, an activist, a social worker, a mentor, an author. Though he usually fails to mention it, Mr. Starks is a staunch conservative, which he will admit is pressed. Now, he wrote a book entitled The On Civil War, Blacks versus N-Words. Okay? Yeah. And he says, admittedly and justifiably as a black man, I possess multi-layered animosity, but toward the dysfunctional and sociopathic subculture that openly exists within the African-American community. My abhorrence runs so deeply that I am committed to combating this subculture on any accessible level. The entire African-American populace is demonized because of the actions of this subculture, which has essentially hijacked the African-American image and revamped it into their image and likeness. Moreover, this parasitic subculture replicates hard conditions wherever it exists. This trend is unique to the N-word subculture. Our mission is to expose, ostracize the dysfunctional, criminally prone N-word subculture. And that's how Talib Starks describes the people that he hails from. Now, to me, a black conservative is mentally ill. You want to be rich and famous, become a black conservative and talk against black people. You'll get rich and famous. Now, you have some that are black conservatives that are, you know, just straight up sellouts. They're in it for the money, this, that, and that. Then you have true believers like this Talib Stark, who actually believe they had the black community's best interests at heart.
Right.
You know, Stark truly believes black people would be better off if we embrace conservative ideology. That the oppression of the past has no bearing on the present. That's just crazy. That's just crazy.
Black people have to concentrate on unity.
Right.
And stand and investing in keeping a dollar bill in our own community. And once we start doing that and we start taking focus on taking care of our own, and we can build our own community like the Italian community over on the hilltop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got all of these other communities, the Spanish community.
Right.
They have communities. And when they say the black community, they go together. They
Right.
don't even call it a community.
No.
So you got to understand what we're dealing with. We have to fix this ourselves.
Right.
And we have to police ourselves.
Oh,
And make
most
the
definitely.
police get away from us because they're killing us.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need them to police us ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Well, true believers like Starks believe that this so-called subculture is the creation of lazy, lawless N-words who desire to live in crime and poverty. Who desires to live in crime and poverty? Okay?
And they act like they're the only people that live like that. It's every other culture that live like that.
Of
So
course.
it's a one-track minded thinking person anyway. So,
Anyway.
I mean,
Yeah.
who is this guy?
That's
Yeah. Who is this?
Who is this guy? You know?
Yeah.
Luckily, he is not very influential because a lot of people don't even know who this fool is.
And us as the community that we're trying to build is glad.
That's what.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We are really glad.
Big time. Now, Talib Starks has concluded that the multi-layered animosity that he possesses toward the N-word subculture has led him to the conclusion that this segment of the black community needs to be identified and ostracized. Ostracized. Ostracize means to ban. Ban us. Yes, us. I identify with the so-called N-word subculture. Where? Build more prisons? Send us to some island? Is he nuts? Yes. Obviously. Yeah, that's what. Obviously, that's why I said.
I mean, they always get to pick out the nuts in our survival, in our structure. They go and find the nuts in our structure and survival and pick them out and try to act like they represent for everybody.
When they don't.
And when they don't, you know what I'm saying?
You know, and Mr. Starks, you need to realize that America is a place where a black man has a greater chance of being arrested for going to Starbucks than a white man who commits treason in front of the whole damn world.
Think about it.
You know? And one of the things that you mentioned was, you know, how we've integrated. Was integration the worst thing that happened to black people? You know, some experts have suggested that integration was the best thing that ever happened to black people, saying that integration was not solely about being able to patronize white-owned businesses or attending better schools with more resources. It was about being able to move and access society on the same level as white people within America. Well, that's a crap because that's not what's going on. The integration that took place, okay, was integrating our money out of our damn community.
Correct.
Which is what Nsoromma said. We need to, look, the dollar used to bounce in our community 12 to 15 times before it left the community. Now it bounces once or twice.
If that.
If that.
Right.
If that. Because we, you know, and it's something, I'm not going to be too hard on our people and put too much blame on our people because I understand. See, what happened, you know how you have a child that's raised in a very strict household, and the first time they get out, they go wild. They go wild.
I was one.
Okay.
I was one.
I heard that. I heard that. But you didn't wild out to the point where it was detrimental.
No. I was actually saved by the belt.
I heard that.
And the extension cord.
I heard that. I heard the same here, brother. I like that. I was saved by the belt.
That's right. I was saved by the belt. You understand?
That's
I appreciate my mother and father for that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our kids don't respect that the parents and their wisdom, which they should. You know what I'm saying? And the government has made so much strict and put so many things, stipulation on you raising your kid that you can't even discipline your kid correctly to make your kids have to be scared of you and not the police.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The police is no one.
That's right. And that's how I was.
Exactly. You don't need the police. If you can handle your business yourself, if you can defend yourself, you can protect yourself. You're a sovereign.
Right.
So you don't need to call police and people like that. So I'm just saying, and it's just you gotta stand up.
Yes, indeed. Well, after segregation ended, black people were excited.
Uh-huh.
Right? I ate one of them mints, and boy, it's going up in my eyes. Anyway, they were excited,
Right.
to support businesses owned by white people. And like I said, see, the thing is, we were living in such a strict subculture within America. When things opened up, some of us ran away from ourselves and just went buck wild.
Okay, what did Malcolm X call that?
What do you call it? What do you call it?
Bamboozle.
Bamboozle.
Yes.
Yes,
They
indeed.
bamboozled us. That's when they took our money out of our community and actually manipulated and bamboozled us into buying from them.
Right. And abandoning our own. I know, right here in Wilmington, I can remember Walnut Street was full of black businesses.
Right. I mean, all the way down Market Street. I mean, we was in that era.
Yeah.
Walnut Street connected to Market Street and went all the way down 30th Street, all the way to Sears. And the whole Market Street had things on it, and businesses, striving businesses. Right. Now it's a little pinch here, a little pinch there. It's looking a little like Chester to me. I said that the other day when
I heard that. Yeah, and you're right. And ultimately there was a slippery slope. Right. And the idea that everything white is somehow better than anything black, whether it's schools, businesses, or simply people believing in this ideology could be deemed as a form of self-hate. Although there are some positive and negative thoughts surrounding integration, there is only one overwhelming reality that we face today. Black people must start to support one another and unite as a people, just like Nsoromma said. Yeah. That's what and if you're paying attention, which we must, okay, you will see that anytime that we support our own, there's pressure not to do so, even from some of our own. That's where it comes from. Yeah. When you see the movie, you're going to really understand and see that they always get that insurgent that's inside and make something happen. This is what they call, what you call that, when entrapment. Entrapment, yeah. Right, it's entrapment. Yeah. Anytime they do that, that's what they do to make things happen for the bring down of our positive things that we try to do. They insert individuals that's our kind and our color in need or messed up or drug problem, and it's set it up as an entrapment and go hard on it. That's what they do, brother. That's what they do. That's what I heard. I'm Patrice Gibbs. I'm Nsoromma. This is The Open Eye. WHGE 95.3 FM. You dig? Yaga! Go, sir! Rachel, yo, you dumb! Hey, yo, me say, what's good? Hey, yeah, the extension cord and the tree branch. Yeah, I used to have to go. I killed that tree. I heard that. Like Richard Pryor said. I killed that tree in my backyard. I did. I killed it. Yeah, I heard that. Check like that. I heard that. Good morning, Bessie. I see you over there. Bessie. My former co-worker. Okay. Yes, the one of my favorite Facebook cuz. Right. Yes, indeed. True that. Yeah, buddy. Yo, Joe, what's good? I ain't seen you in a minute. Step your chest game up. You still remember, right? Last time I seen you, I did the dirt. Oh, I did the dirt to you. Oh, so you owe me. Luther, you too, Luther. I just seen you up here. Luther, you meet me at the chessboard anytime, baby. Oh, sucky. Do you know what? I'm gonna have to meet you at the chessboard, brother. Oh, come on, man. Don't say that. I don't got no friends on there. Hey, yo, I can't no time. Jesus.
Yo, Eddie, what's up, Ghost? Yo, you know, making it work. WHGE 95.3 FM. You know what I mean? Yeah. True.
WHGE 95.3 FM. The Open Eye with Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma in the building.
Yeah, third eye optometrist and intellectual surgeon. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right.
Yeah.
You know who I like, man?
Who?
Dave Chappelle.
Yo.
That's my man.
Definitely your man. That's my man too. Dave Chappelle is another legend.
Yes,
and is a living legend.
Yeah.
Another living legend.
Another living legend gonna go down as one of the greatest to ever do it.
He actually broke barriers that we don't even know about that that David Chappelle has accomplished.
That's right.
And if you leave it up to David Chappelle, he'll let you know that we, the people, help them do that.
That's right.
And
that's what he did too. That's what he did too. Because he said when he wanted to get his Netflix was showing his show that he left, right? And he's like, yo, I own that. Comedy Central, I need more money. They was like, oh, well, good luck with that. He said, oh, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to the people. And he went to the people and said, don't watch that. And they didn't watch it.
Right.
And then Comedy Central said, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna give you your money. And that's what they did. Now Dave Chappelle, who is a very astute social observer, as a lot of comedians are,
right?
He said, watch the tape. Watch the tape. Watch the crowd that told Colin Kaepernick he can't kneel during a football game to try to beat a police officer to death with an American flag. I watched that, like you said, and I did know. I know 7 people died during the white supremacist terrorist attack
on the Capitol.
On the Capitol,
right?
Okay, and one of them people, this dude, he gouged the cop's eye out. He took his thumb and pulled the man's eye out, gouged it out.
I mean,
but these are the same people telling Colin Kaepernick not to kneel. These are the same people that, they want to suggest that the coordinated violence on the Capitol by the white supremacists was equal to the nonviolent Black Lives Matter marches last summer. That's like comparing a Klan rally to a civil rights march. You feel me?
Yes, man. Yes.
Jeez.
I mean, you gotta think. At that particular time, they had tried to seize the Capitol. America was under war. We were at war at that particular time with our own so-called American citizens. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Trying to breach the Capitol.
Yeah.
Now, I don't understand why they didn't lock the person up that stole the constitutional rights listing, but they locked the person up that got on the internet and shared it to everybody.
Yeah.
Now what is? I mean, look at the injustice of that in itself.
Yeah.
How can you participate with an injustice that is so pressed up on you like that? How can you participate with that?
That's a damn good question, brother. You figure it out. You come tell me. You come tell the open eye listeners. You don't.
Yo, you don't participate.
That's what.
You got the right to go to Getty or Exxon. You got the right to participate with this government, or you don't. You just lie, read, and learn ways to not be part of it. This is a structured business that Donald Trump ran. Do you want to be part of that? Think about it.
Yeah.
This is the dude that got a casino crumble.
Right.
So that's why he's going to get off. That's why he's going to not get in trouble. He only get his hand smacked. And you get a little wrist smack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's deep, man.
Yeah, it is. Well, I want to move right along.
Moving on.
Yeah. Now,
that was
Been some hardcore weather.
Oh, most definitely.
Been snow up here and snow down south.
Yeah.
And the snow
does that, man.
in Texas.
Oh, that's terrible down there.
Oh, yeah.
Texas, like, really got hit hard.
Yeah. Well, this is a good time to note that the electrical grid in Texas was deregulated, privatized, and removed from interconnected networks to avoid federal regulation and increase profits for a small number of wealthy individuals connected to the Republican Party. And people in Texas dying, freezing, because they are off the grid. This is the craziest mess in the world. They are off the grid. So Louisiana, right next to Texas, okay, they're on the grid. They didn't lose power. One city in Texas,
right,
that decided that they are staying on the national grid. They ain't going along with this mess in Texas.
right.
Texas, we're seceding from the union. We're not participating.
Right.
You know? Well, El Paso said, y'all go here to do that and get off the grid. We're staying on the grid, and guess what? El Paso still got power. Now, on top of that, people freezing in Texas, and you know,
yeah, because them houses down in Texas wasn't built to sustain the weather of 30, 32 and below degree weather.
Yeah.
These houses don't have any insulation to keep the pipes warm.
Right.
Their houses,
but they don't have no
pipes.
power. That's the main thing. You know, their pipes would stay, you know, hot water and this, that, and the other, but you know, you can't run a hot water heater with no electricity. And because Texas decided to corruptly move itself from the power grid of the rest of the nation,
right?
All right, you know,
cause them the grid to go out, and
right?
All these people die and lose their houses. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, instead of building
monopoly.
Yeah.
Anytime you're talking about this money structure, you're not saying it's the monopoly. It's that 1%.
Who was one of the people that benefited from that?
Who was one?
Senator Ted Cruz.
He was going on vacation.
Oh yeah.
Oh come on, man. I mean,
yeah, he took it on the lam, Sam. You know what he did was he took his family, Ted Cruz, who was so concerned about Mexicans invading America. As soon as stuff got hot or too cold here,
he gonna dip over to Mexico.
He dipped over to Mexico. Went to Cancun.
I seen
that. Went to Cancun. Now after he got criticized and busted, right? What did he do? He threw his family under the bus. Well, see, what happened was, what happened was, like, my daughters was, and my wife, and so, like, so I just took, so I just took my daughters to Mexico, because they just wanted to go. And I was coming back. Yeah, I'm sure your ass was coming back out of that warm.
Yo, when they get busted, they say anything.
Don't they? Oh man! And so now he's running around defending himself, but he ain't doing nothing to help the people of Texas.
Like Brother Star said, they corrupt. When you're dealing with this corrupt, it seems like all of them have to have a little bit of corruptness in them to work with each other in that. It's just sickening, man.
It is.
If you can just go out there and get rid of all of them and start over and put vote your own people in there, not just, I mean, from the top all the way down to the bottom.
That's right.
I mean, clean all of that. If you ain't doing that and you ain't thinking like that, it's always gonna be this chaos.
That's what's gonna be. Now one of the craziest things about Texas, when other states get in trouble,
right?
Okay. No, we can't afford to help them. No, I vote against that. We're not going to give them nothing. Now they in trouble, like America. We're Americans, and over here in Texas, and can you help us out?
Pleading now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, y'all should have built a grid. A proper grid instead of building that damn wall. That's what you should have did. But some of our politicians being what they are, for instance, what's his name, Beto O'Rourke, he organized 300,000 volunteer phone calls, this week.
What?
Yeah, to help senior citizens in Texas. AOC Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez
Okay.
out of New York. She raised $1 million for relief efforts. Meanwhile, Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz.
Oh, Ted
You know what
Cruz.
he said?
Yeah.
Bouncing.
Yep. You know, he run around explaining, he on a media tour to explain why he flew to Mexico, to Cancun. What an
Yo, come on, man.
you know,
You can't even explain.
can't explain that. You know what that makes him? An amazing historic piece of crap.
Yo, our button is slow right now.
Yeah.
Yo, but if you get a piece of it, don't worry about it because the button's coming.
I heard that.
What's
You know,
good?
the only argument
Right.
against not helping people is money. That's the only argument, which is complete BS. The money is right there.
Right.
It's spent on bombs instead of homes, on cops instead of kids, on bailing out banks instead of families.
You know, that's true.
Yeah. hmm The only argument against helping people is a damn lie. Because the money is there. Oh, they could come up with the money for them banks. They could come up with the money for some bombs. You know, the Pentagon got $1 trillion budget. All right. How much better and hardcore can you make the military?
Not only that, it ain't even about us, the Treasury Department. You gotta think, the Rothschilds is worth $700 trillion.
Hmm.
That's more than the United States is worth.
How about
That's
that?
one family.
Yeah.
Yo, so I mean, you can see and actually track where the money is
Mhm.
if you just track the money.
Yeah, that's word. And see, that's the thing. You see, that's one of the reasons that, you know, when we talk about these things, one of the things I bring up is ancient Egypt and why it lasted so long. Okay, it lasted so long because they had balance. All right, you can tell the state and the mindset
Right.
of a society by how it treats the least amongst their population.
Say that again.
You can tell the mindset
Uh-huh.
and the condition of
Okay.
a society
Right.
by how it treats the least amongst them.
Okay.
Okay? Here in America,
Right.
it is against the law to leave a dog out in the cold. But we will walk by homeless people living in the cold every day. That shows how sick we are.
Yeah. I mean, just to look at the rudeness that America has bestowed upon the citizens, you can see they don't care about us.
No.
They got a homeless row. How do you have a homeless row? Where you can just take and build a big building there, 50 stories, 1,000 rooms, and put everybody in there and manage it as a governmental structure. I mean, people are not thinking like that. The people with this money is not thinking the way the world, to make the world constantly become futuristic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not an evolving practice. They want to take and hoard the money
Mhm.
and not let the money grow money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You know?
It's like,
And not improve our infrastructure.
right.
You know, we had mentioned this last week, how you go places like Japan and Norway and places in Europe, and you look at their infrastructure, you look at their public transportation system, for instance. Okay,
Yeah.
ours look like something out of the
Right.
early,
Ancient.
yeah,
Right.
you know, ancient America.
Ancient. We are
Yeah.
ancient right now. It's other cities and countries that's so far advanced more than America that they don't even want to show us them countries to let us see how slow we
That's
are.
right.
So, like Brother Slaughter said, also, these people need to be arrested. Like Bill Gates for trying to set up and step in for this population control. He's killing people. You know what I'm saying? So it needs to be justice there for these people that take this needle and die. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they got to set up where, okay, you get this needle, you ain't got nobody to sue and all that. Well, why are you taking the needle? You know, I mean, you got to really think about these things that they saying to us right in our face and trying to act like it's something you have to do because you can't shoot them and tell them to get away from you. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't defend yourself.
Right.
You have to be able to defend yourself.
And you know what it boils down to?
Defend yourself.
It boils down to those that are willing and silly and brainwashed enough to vote against their own best interests. With this thing that came up with the white terrorist attack on the Capitol, the pundits declared that the white terrorist attack on the Capitol and the shenanigans of Donald Trump were unprecedented. Well, that's not true. You know, this conservatism,
Right.
it's not unprecedented. Let's not forget who these people are and have been in the past. You know what? Going back to the Revolutionary War. You lock the door? Somebody knock on. I don't know. But going back to the Revolutionary War, conservatives wanted to stay loyal to England. Conservatives wanted to make president a lifelong appointment. Could you imagine if that had taken place and we got the damn orange disaster in there for the rest of his life? Conservatives fought against bringing in slave-free states without slave-holding states. And the list just goes on. Conservatives fought against civil rights. Conservatives wanted to stay in Vietnam.
Right.
It was conservatives who brought you homelessness and huge deficits. Because I can remember when homelessness, you know, was contained to Skid Row, and you know you had some
It wasn't
alcohol.
as broad as it is
Right.
now. I remember that also.
Yeah.
Plus, America was kind of ashamed to have homeless even being seen like that, so they was trying to keep it out on a not noticeable thing also.
Mm-hmm. So what have conservatives ever done that benefited America? Let me tell you what. For having the White House, what was it, 34, 39 years of the last, 50? They brought the country to the brink of destruction and seemed hell-bent on making that happen. You know what? If someone was to call me conservative, I would be very offended. You know, them's fighting words. A low blow, a high insult, and worthy of a punch in the mouth. That's you know,
Yeah.
that's word. And since they lost in Georgia, you know these clowns are trying to change the rules down there. Because the likelihood is that my sister down there, Abrams, what's her name?
Well,
Abrams in Georgia. She ran for governor before. She gonna run again.
oh, Miss Abrams.
Yeah.
I can't grant.
I can't get her first name, but I tell you what, when it comes time for the gubernatorial election down there again, the likelihood is Georgia gonna have its first black female governor. And so what the conservatives are doing is they're trying their damnedest to change the rules. See, when your policies and your message are crap, the only way that you can win is cheap. And that's what's going on there. The only way you can win is to cheat.
And that's what they've been doing since the beginning, cheating from the beginning.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's what they've been doing.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Like you said, and that's what they've been doing from the beginning. You know, and you know, I'm glad that you mentioned
white privilege. That's what Brother Saunders said. White privilege.
Yes, white privilege.
True, yo, I believe. Oh no, Tommy Gunn said that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what's up, Tommy? But Tommy right on point with that.
Oh, yeah, most
Yeah, he's right on point with that. Because, you know, look, I see the brother, remember the brother that was in Central Park and he asked the lady to put her dog on the leash?
Yeah.
And that clown wouldn't press charges? Well, the state picked up the charges. But, you know, they just waited for things to quiet down and they dropped the charges on Karen.
Oh, most definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's that slap on the wrist, that little tap on the wrist.
Oh, yeah. That's what they're going to do.
And they get to keep their money. They don't get fined and anything like that. But they always take us to the limit. Get us to pay all the fines and court costs and everything to keep their big houses.
And that's where WHGE 95.3 FM.
Yes.
Probably we're doing something now.
Brother Slaughter, us. What's good? Tommy Gunn. Yo. Hey, bro, what's happening? Hey, yo, Leon. You know what it is. This is what we do. We be doing it like that, yo. I mean, yo, lady, what's happening? You know the OG. Hey, you need to see me? I got you. I got you.
Pick up that Rona. Get that Rona from Nsoromma. I'm
That's
telling
right.
you, that thing ain't no joke. Hey, have you released the full video yet?
Of Rona?
Yeah.
Nah, not yet.
Oh, when I saw a clip of it, it was off the hook. It was hilarious, dude.
Oh, yeah,
buddy, it was hilarious.
Track was good.
Yes, indeed. And listen, we're going to get out of here, but let me tell you this before we go. We must be proactive to the extreme. Understand this. Black people are a targeted group living in danger and oppression. That has not changed. This has been so from the founding of the country. Neither emancipation, the civil rights movement, black power, nor the election of a black man has changed this. We have and must always move intelligently, and we cannot afford to live in fear. We must always be conscious of the forces arrayed against us and stand up to those forces, determined to devalue our lives. We cannot be ruled by reactionary regression. We must be proactive in the extreme, revolutionary, because our condition is extreme. We should never allow one instance of injustice to go unanswered, because that unanswered instance will be followed by escalation. We teach people how to treat us. As I always say, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you, and don't treat those as a priority who treat you as an option. This is Open Eye. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
I'm Nsoromma.
Thanks for joining us.
WHGE 95.3 FM.
Yeah. All right.
Kill it.
All right.
Yo,
Thanks for
what's
joining us.
Yo, you know how it is. We ended it up the show. It was a good show. Thank y'all for tuning in. Yolanda, what's happening, cuzzo? You know how I get.